G'day guys, and welcome back to the Great Rugby League Podcast. I am your host, as always, Ados. How are you all on this wonderful hump day? It is Tuesday as I'm recording this, but it is Wednesday when you guys first hear it. Now, this is the first time I'm uploading the podcast on a Wednesday, so something a little bit different, but we're getting very close to that Team List Tuesday, and that's sort of my idea, is that we're going to start uploading from Wednesdays moving forward, because next week, footy is back, baby, and boy, I am excited. We've got some massive trial games coming next week, and I cannot wait. So we will look at team lists next Tuesday afternoon. Probably maybe early Wednesday morning. I work at like 3 o'clock on Wednesday morning, so I may look at doing a midnight recording and then uploading Wednesday morning for you guys to hear. But today, guys, I have scoured the internet for the craziest bold predictions. So this is episode 6 of the Great Rugby League Podcast, I should say, and we are going to be diving into some of the craziest predictions that I have found on the website, on the internet, I should say. I'm not going to lie, there's not that many crazy bold predictions. Now, we've already covered the Fox League ones, so I've left them out, but I've jumped on the Nothing But League website. We've got 2 bold predictions from them. I also jumped on the West Tigers forum. We've got about 8 or 9 bold predictions from them. And then I've got 4 content creators. So we've got Trademark Sports and Pro Enzo Vids from YouTube, and Blake Darlow and Zane Potter from TikTok. So shout out to you guys for some bold predictions. Very excited to jump into it. But before we do, guys, I'd just like to give you all a massive shout out for the support on this podcast. I've seen a lot of growth recently, and I am very happy about that. Like, I think we're averaging between the 2 on YouTube and Spotify. We're getting about 50 views per episode. So I like that. I'm very happy with that. Obviously, I'd like that to grow come season's end, and I think it will, with the weekly upload of the podcast and talking to you guys about good old rugby league. But, we're going to jump straight in. I have not done a script once again because I just think it flows better off the dome. So starting off, let's get Nothing But League out of the way. And their first prediction is Penrith Panthers prop Spencer Leniu wins prop of the year. I think that's a big, bold prediction there. Now, obviously the Panthers have a plethora of great forwards. You've got Liam Martin. You've got in the front row, obviously, James Fisher-Harris. You've got Moses Leota. You've also got some boys that are coming through on the bench. Like, I don't think Spencer Leniu does win prop of the year. If anybody wins it from the Panthers, I've got Fisher-Harris or Leota winning it. But I tell you what, not a bad pick. Like, that's a very bold prediction. But again, you never know what happens in rugby league. That's why it's such a great sport. All right, their next one was Elisa Katoa to be the buy of the year. Now, I think Melbourne Storm have done really well bringing this young fella over from the Warriors. I think he's an absolute weapon of a player. He's got such good potential. But I just think there's a lot of other names out there that potentially could get this. Just throwing a few out there. You've got Jermaine Hopgood. I think Luke Garner's another one that potentially could be up there. You've got Reid Marnie, Api Coruscant, Viliami Kikau. You got Papali'i. There's a lot of names out there that could get it that I think are better than Katoa. You never know. Craig Bellamy could get the best out of Katoa, and he could help Storm, make it get up into that top 4. So you just don't know. But I've got to say, this one's a crazy bold prediction. That's why it's on my list, and I very much disagree with it. All right, let's talk West Tigers Forum. Now, this one had a lot of crazy takes, mainly Tigers making the top 8. So we'll get to some of the Tigers ones, or the one Tiger one I've pulled out of there, because I don't think you guys want too many Tigers picks. But the first one is a lot of them on there were saying the Dolphins will make the top 8 in 2023. Look, it's hard to say. It honestly is, because we don't know how well the Dolphins will play. I honestly think they will struggle, but with Wayne Bennett there, you just never know. But I do think that this is a crazy prediction. I think most people with the team's foundation year, and because they haven't signed, that marquee player, I don't see them playing finals in 2023. I'd be very surprised if they even got close to it, to be honest. I think they'll be closer to a wooden spoon than a top 8 spot. But at the end of the day, you never really know. Rugby league is a funny sport, and this could potentially happen. But I still think it is a crazy prediction. All right, next up, Penrith Panthers to miss the top 4. Again, a bit like the Dolphins, this is a possibility. We've seen teams, finish in the top 4 and then get barreled out of the top 8 completely. I highly doubt the Panthers will get knocked out of the 8. I don't even think they'll get knocked out of the top 4. I still think they'll win them on the premiership. That's my prediction anyway. But I think to say Panthers miss the top 4, I do think that's a crazy prediction. We've seen, the Panthers be so dominant for the last few years, and I can't see them missing the top 4. I understand that they've lost Apsai Coruscant, they've lost Viliami Kikau. There's several names that are leaving the club, but I do think that they'll still be up there. They're just a team with a next man up mentality, and if somebody goes out either injured or they need a replacement for someone, the club's just ready for it. It honestly is. So I think the Panthers definitely make top 4. I'd be very surprised if they dropped out of the top 2. So that is a crazy one for me. The next one is the Sharks in the grand final. Potentially, again, very possible. But I just think that there's a lot of teams above them. I think the Sharks will have a very good regular season, but come finals, I do think they will struggle. Now, for Cronulla, I see them probably getting knocked out in the first 2 rounds. I do have them in my top 4, but I do have them getting knocked out in straight sets once again. So I do not think that they will be in the grand final, at least not this year. I think if Nicho Hynes is to have another big year, then it's potentially up there. But, I don't know if Nicho Hynes can do the same or better than he did last year. So I think the Sharkies will confidently be in the top 8, but in the grand final, I disagree with. Which brings me to the next one, Nicho Hynes back-to-back Dally M. Again, I've got to say I must disagree. I think he will be in the conversation and potentially be around that, top 5 players for the Dally M. I think there's so many players that are more than likely going to beat him, like James Tedesco, Nathan Cleary, players like that. I think, will probably have a bigger year. I could be wrong, and I might be eating more words after this, but I highly disagree with this one. I think this is very unlikely, and that is why it goes on my crazy predictions list. This next one, arguably one of the most craziest ones I've got on here, Gold Coast Titans to finish higher than both the Broncos and the Cowboys. I very much disagree with this. Now, I see a lot of people saying the Titans underperformed last year, and I tend to agree. I think we may see a little bit of improvement from them, but to say that they're going to finish higher than the Cowboys is crazy. I honestly don't think they're going to finish higher than the Broncos either. I think both sides are far and away better than the Titans, and I've got nothing more to say on that. If they do, again, I'll take everything I said back, but I just can't see it happening. I've got both the Broncos and Cowboys finishing quite a bit higher than the Titans. All right, next up, Newcastle Knights to make the top 8. My apologies, guys. We had some issues with the audio equipment because of the bloody cat running and knocking the speaker cord. So I do apologise, but we are back. All right, so the next one was Knights to make the top 8. Again, crazy bold prediction here. I do not see it happening. I think Newcastle potentially could be decent, but I don't know. There's just too many question marks. Shout out to him for signing Lockie Miller, though. I think that is a step in the right direction. But, I don't know. I think there's too many question marks around how the Knights are going to go, how well Ponga's going to go at 5'8". Like, if they're 12 rounds in and it's not working, do they revert back? It's just that there's too many question marks. I can't see them making the top 8, at least not next year, or this season, I should say. I can't see them making the 8. But, look, I appreciate the bold prediction. I think it's a decent one. Definitely a crazy bold prediction, but personally, I don't see it happening. I think O'Brien will be sacked quite early on in the season. All right, to round out the West Tigers forum takes, the final one I've got here is one that a lot of them were very, very firm on, and that's the Tigers to make the top 4, not even the 8, straight into the 4. They were, they're bragging about how well they've recruited, and to their credit, they have recruited very well. But I think this is going to take time for the players to gel and learn each other's sort of create combinations and stuff like that. I do see a massive improvement from the Tigers, maybe to like 12th or 11th, but to say top 4, man, that's crazy. That's probably the boldest prediction of the day, to be honest. Tigers top 4, I do not see it happening. Appreciate the Tigers fans that they believe in their team. I really do. I did see some that were more realistic saying, look, I think the Tigers are going to improve, but definitely not a top 8 team yet. So, to those Tigers fans, credit to you guys. You understand, sort of where your team is at the moment. And I definitely think, top 8 is for sure on the cards over the next few years, but definitely not top 4 next year. If you do make the top 4 next year, I will look back at this video and sound like a bloody idiot. But, look, very, very bold prediction there. But credit to you Tigers fans. You've got to stay loyal and, put your team first. So good on you for that, but I definitely cannot see it happening. All right, over to the boys on YouTube. So the first one is from Trademark Sport, and I've just taken one of his videos, so shout out to Trademark Sport over there. Massive Dragons fan. If you're not following Trademark, go over and check out his content. He's an absolute brilliant content creator. And most of his picks don't miss, but I reckon this one does. He's gone with Brian To'o to miss out on New South Wales selection. Mate, I think that's a crazy one. I honestly do. Understanding that, I've got a few crazy predictions out there, but wow. I definitely think Josh Adokar comes back into the team, but I think it'll be for Daniel Tupou. I don't think To'o misses out. I reckon he's going to be leading the league in metres gained, tackle breaks. Like, I reckon he'll be up there. I don't think he'll miss out on Origin selection. But I'll tell you what, it is a very interesting pick. So shout out to you for that one. But yeah, I think Brian To'o definitely misses out on that one. All right, next up, Pro Enzo videos, or vids, my apologies. Manly fan, so shout out to Pro Enzo. Absolute gun of a content creator. Love his work. He's just put out a few videos over there with his bold predictions. I think he did that a few weeks ago. So go and check them out because there's some cracking predictions there from Pro Enzo. But his prediction that I've taken is Tolu Kola to win Centre of the Year. Now, it's got potential. It does have potential. Not one of the craziest ones on this list, that's for sure, but I personally cannot see it happening. I don't think Tolu Kola will get Centre of the Year. I think there's at least a dozen players ahead of him, and I'm saying that at least. So I think he's going to have a cracking year, but definitely not in my conversations for the Centre of the Year. All right, next up. This is the TikTokers. So I've got Blake Darlow and Zane Potter. Blake's prediction is Warriors finish 9th to 10th, or 9th or 10th. I do think the Warriors will improve. I honestly do. And to be honest, this was one of the... He's got a few bold predictions out there, but they weren't that crazy. They're actually somewhat realistic. So Warriors finishing 9th or 10th, I thought was the craziest one out of them. But again, it's actually not that crazy, to be honest, because I think the Warriors will have a good year at home, and I can see that sort of 9th, 10th place finish. I could potentially see that. So not the craziest bold prediction, but still a bold prediction nonetheless. All right, from the fellow Rabbitohs supporter, Zane Potter. A good mate of mine on TikTok. He's gone with I think this is a pretty crazy one, but again, not out of the realm of possibility. Zane has gone with the Gold Coast Titans to make the top 8. Now, I touched on the Titans finishing higher than the Broncos and Cowboys, which I disagreed with, so I am on the same page with this one. I do disagree. However, again, I wouldn't be totally surprised if they did make the top 8. I'd be very surprised, but I wouldn't be totally surprised because I do think that they underperformed, and adding Sam Verrills and Kieran Foran to that team, in my opinion, is probably going to help them out a lot. So I do see a big improvement from the Titans, but I doubt we're going to see them making the top 8. All right, guys, that is going to wrap it up from me, I think. There's no more bold predictions that I've got on here that I took from online that I thought were crazy. So let me know some of your bold predictions down in the comments if you're watching on YouTube. Otherwise, if you're watching on Spotify, jump over to the YouTube channel, find this video and comment on there if you want. But guys, yeah, that's going to wrap it up from me. Thank you all so much for tuning in this week and every other week that you tune in. You guys are amazing. It's really, you're really helping the growth of the channel, so I really do appreciate that. Next Wednesday, we're going to do a team list review. I'll give you some, I'm not going to tip on this preseason challenge because I don't think it's worth it, but I might give you a few, plays I'm going to watch out for on the weekend and stuff like that. So we'll talk more about it next week. But yes, guys, stay safe for the rest of the week. Let me know in the comments what you guys are up to this week. I'd love to hear from you guys. I hope you guys are as excited as I am. It wouldn't be the great rugby league podcast if I didn't have a word jumble. That's for sure. Let me know what you guys are doing for the rest of the week and over the weekend. Make sure you get a lot of rest this weekend because I guarantee you won't be resting next weekend. But yes, guys, that is going to do it for me. Thank you all so much once again. And as always, my friends, I will see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.